New Holland has a new Discbine series out. The 313 and 316 are the replacements for the old 1431 and the H7000 series that ran previously. So what are the differences between this new machine and the old one? And do they combine to provide a better machine? Let's take a look and I'll show you what I like about it and maybe some of the things that I like about the old machine better. So at the front of the machine, not much has changed. New Holland still offers this 2-point mount, which I really like. It mounts to your draft lengths. I like the solidness of it for our hills. We've got some pretty crazy steep ground, and I like that. It's easy for me to hook up by myself because I've got the rocker switch on the fender to raise and lower, and then I've also got telescoping draft lengths, so it's pretty easy for me to hook up. If you have an older tractor or one without a outside adjustment for your height on your draft lengths or telescoping draft lengths, this may not be the system for you, as it's a little harder to hook up if you don't have all that, or two people to do it every time you want to do it. One more thing I should mention is if you do have this sort of setup, and like I need to haul this old one up to the dealer and give it back to them as their trade-in, you're kind of sunk unless you have this hitch, which they were good enough to let me borrow. So a couple things to consider. First is your tractor setup and how easy it is for you to hook up something to your 3-point. The other thing to consider is, do you road your machine? Is it something you're going to haul behind your pickup quite often? Because if so, you're either going to have to get a hitch like this, or you're probably better off doing the other single point mount. One of the major differences is the shields on top of the header. The old 1431 and H series had a metal, and then on the H series they added rubber underneath, but they still would take a ton of rocks and dents and get beat up. The new one is, the new 313 is all polymer shields, and they either lift or they will also bifold up. On the older style machines, your power came back from the tractor and you had belts running on both sides over to power each side of the cutter bar. It also provides a lot of opportunity. I just finished cutting 60 acres of grass, and you can see the amount of seed and buildup I've got. The new top is a lot cleaner, and so you're not going to get all this junk buildup like you're seeing here on this older machine, I don't think. On the 313, your power comes back from the tractor, drops to this gearbox, and then drops to the cutter bar. This is a Mowmax 2 cutter bar, so it's powered only from that left-hand side, and that really cleans up the top of the machine and gets rid of all the belts and pulleys and necessary hardware on top of the cutter bar. The 313 uses the New Holland Mowmax 2 cutter bar, which is basically right off a Discbine. It's quite a bit bigger, quite a bit heavier, and like I said, it's powered only from that other side. The other thing you'll notice about this machine, this is a 313, they also make a 316, but New Holland puts rotating discs on the end that throw the crop into the roller. On this machine, you've got one converging disc bringing it right into the rollers. And we'll go over and look at the old 1431 here. Okay, and here we are under the hood of the 1431. There are two discs that turn the same way, converging that material into your rollers. They've made the rollers on the new machines quite a bit wider, which means that you're going to have more crop coming in contact with the roller, and I think your conditioning will be quite a bit better. The 313 uses a inboard mounted tire with a bunch of weight in it. It's supposed to track better on the hills. I do like the tires on the old machine better. They were quite a bit wider, quite a bit flatter profile. And we'll just have to see how things handle, but I do like the tires on the old machine a little bit better. They're just a little bit bigger, and it seems like with our hills, the wider tire you get on the ground, flatter surface, the better it tracks. So we'll see if this new machine does track better. It's supposed to, but I'm kind of wondering with that new tire. They did have to narrow this tire up, putting the arm outside like that, and then you can see as it is, this tire is still interfering with, you know, it's in the roller conditioner area. So, you know, I know why they did narrow the tire up and narrow things up. It's to get more conditioning in that machine. But anyway, that's one thing I don't like quite as well on the new one. Both these machines are 14-foot width. Here's the 313, and you can see how that roller goes from one side almost completely to the other side of the machine. And then on the 1431, or the H series, you had quite a bit narrower rollers. So your conditioning on the new machine should be quite a bit better because you're going to put less hay through every square inch of this conditioner, so they should do a better job conditioning. The 313 has the power coming in and dropping to your cutter bar. It also sends power out of the same box to power the rollers. It's a whole lot simpler system, and as far as tracking on the hills goes, I think it's going to do a whole lot better because you've got your roller drive here to the lower roller, and then on the other side of the machine here you have power from the bottom roller transferred through a gearbox up to the upper roller on this machine. On the 1431, on the left hand side, you have two roller end bearings. On the right side you have power coming to both rollers, both from the PTO, also from this gearbox. So this machine has always been weighted quite a bit heavier on the right hand side. So the 1431 H series tend to wear out skid shoes on the right hand side a lot more. They tend to wear out your lift pieces here a lot more because there's several hundred extra pounds riding on this side of the machine powering all your rollers. Whereas on the H series, on the 313 series, they've moved this part of the drive to the other side. So the new machine should be quite a bit better balanced. Alright, one more shot of the 1431. I didn't clean this up kind of intentionally after I cut the last field because I wanted to show how much garbage builds up on top of all the cowling underneath. With this one, you're just kind of, you know, most of the crop goes through those conditioning rollers, but you've got quite a space here, and it tends to build up back on top of this flaring chute here. All right, and in back of the 313 here, they've put a rubber guard in between the top of your machine and the top of the wind guard cowling there. And then also there's nothing on top of the machine. I mean, it's you know, it's just a bare top. So it still is going to get junk up there, but it's going to be so much easier to clean up, and it's not going to hold all the garbage. It was impossible to ever clean out the 1431 because of all the nooks and crannies and crevices and everything. It was just really hard to get it all cleaned out when you were done with it. I also really like the pivot on this new machine, with the way it's mounted top and bottom with a solid pin right into the top of that gearbox. The 1431 has a shaft sticking up, and then there is a little keeper and washer set up to keep that boom mounted up there, to keep that tongue mounted. And I actually have had that work loose before and had that tongue working its way off of the machine. So anyway, I do like the new setup. It seems to be a little more heavy duty. So one of the things I really liked about the old machine was the thickness and the heavy dutiness of this crop skirt. This is quite a bit thinner material than the old machine, and they don't give you any fasteners on it. So it is simply the overlap. They've increased the overlap, and that's supposed to be enough to keep rocks and debris from kicking out. I guess we'll kind of see how it goes, but I really like the heavy dutiness. This new skirt to me doesn't feel quite as heavy duty, so that's one thing I do like about the old machine better. I can go and show you that. So here's the skirt on the 1431, and it's probably easily twice as thick, quite a bit stiffer. The overlap wasn't very good on this, so you had to have the clips, which isn't ideal. It makes it hard to open and close, but it also kept rocks. As long as you remember to clip them, it kept rocks in pretty well. Well, thanks for watching my little comparison here between the New Holland and the old New Holland. Hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. I apologize for the sunlight in this video, but I've got to get that machine up to the dealer so they can get it on their lot. So I was under a limited amount of time to have both machines here at the farm. But anyway, that's kind of some of the differences, what I like, some things that I maybe don't like so well, and maybe I'll grow to like them, we'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.